Hey everybody, this is Coop from Demonic Legion. I've got a battle report here for you of 1500 points of Demons of Chaos versus Lizardmen. This is the second video that I have of this 1500 point list versus Lizardmen. Go ahead and check out the first one if you'd like. For my list, I've got 2 Heralds of Tzeentch, both Lore of Metal. For core, I've got 3 units of 10 pink horrors, each with standards. One of them has a Lichbone Pennant, which gives 1 magic resistance to the unit. I really like that banner, so now my demons have a 4-up save against magic in that unit because of their 5-up ward already. I've got, in special, 4 Beasts of Nurgle in 1 unit, a unit of 3 Beasts of Nurgle, 3 Screamers of Tzeentch. I usually bring 2 units of Furies when I play this list, but I decided to try out the Screamers. You can grow them back past their starting value with Tzeentch magic if you get a little lucky, so I thought it'd be fun to try them out. I also haven't played them in a while. And then for rare, I've got 2 Skull Cannons of Khorne. So, this is my general here, this green guy. He has 2 spells from Metal. I rolled 2 2s. So I took Enchanted Blades of Aban, which is the 2 spell, and then I chose Gehenna's Golden Hounds, which is direct damage. It's basically Searing Doom, so you do d6 hits to the target that wound on their armor save, and they don't get armor saves against it, so it's really nice against things with 1-up armor saves. And then Enchanted Blades of Aban is an augment spell that gives the unit +1 to hit, both shooting and in combat, and it gives them armor piercing. So it's really nice to put that on Beasts of Nurgle. They have so many attacks that giving them a +1 to hit really helps. So now they're hitting on 3s instead of 4s, and additionally the armor piercing makes it so that they're doing -2 to armor saves instead of -1, which really helps them tear through things like Saurus Warriors or basic troops. It's probably one of my favorite spells from Metal. My other Herald of Metal is this guy over here. He's got Searing Doom, which is the signature spell. I believe I rolled a 2 and a 5. So since I already had the 2 spell, I took Final Transmutation over here, and I dropped 5 down to Searing Doom. Final Transmutation is a spell that affects a unit. You roll a d6 for each model in the unit, and on a 5 or 6, they're removed as a casualty with no ward saves of any kind. And additionally, they give stupidity to units around them. If the model in the unit has more than 1 wound, the only way to remove them is with a roll of 6. This is my opponent's wizard. It's a level 2 of beasts. It's got the Amber Spear and Wissen's Wild Form. Amber Spear is a bolt thrower that does D3 wounds in the small version and D6 in the big version, so it could be pretty nasty. I'm a little concerned about that for my Skull Cannons. Then Wissen's Wild Form is just +1 strength, +1 toughness in a unit, so pretty basic augment spell, can really help out in combat. So for my pink horrors, this one down here got Infernal Gateway, does 2d6 strength, 2d6 hits. If you happen to roll an 11 or 12 for the strength, it does 3d6 hits. So it can really be a strong spell. It can soften up a unit, or it can take out a monster. This unit of pink horrors over here also rolled a 6, which is Infernal Gateway. So I dropped chose Treason of Tzeentch, which is a hex spell. It makes the unit you put it on use the lowest leadership of models in that unit for all checks, and additionally they can't use the BSB or the General's Inspiring Presence, so it's there to help you win some break checks. And then my last unit got Blue Fires of Tzeentch, which is the signature spell, goes off on a 5, and it does d6 strength, d6 hits, so it's like the baby version of Infernal Gateway, but it's easy to go off, and I really like the spell, actually. I should let you know that Tzeentch spells have a special effect called Warp Flame, which means if a unit takes a wound from a Tzeentch spell, at the end of the magic phase, you roll they take a toughness test. If they pass the toughness test, that unit gets regeneration 6. If they fail, they take D3 wounds with no armor saves. So it can be a little bit of it can be a real drawback. They're giving someone regeneration, But if you're smart with your targets, you'll choose things that already have ward saves or that, already have parries or something, so that if they get regeneration, it doesn't really matter because they already have that save. Or you choose something with low toughness so that they're most likely to fail the toughness test and you'll do even more wounds to them, which is nice. So, oh, sorry. This is deployment. I got pink horrors in the far right, skull cannon, more pink horrors with a level 2 of metal. I've got another skull cannon, my 3 beasts of Nurgle, my general, this green guy in here, with the infernal gateway pink horrors. I've got 4 beasts of Nurgle in front of them, and my screamers of Tzeentch in the far left. My opponent has 4 pterodons, so these guys look like Ripperdactyls, but they're actually pterodons. He vanguarded them up. He's got 10 skinks, a unit of Saurus with a BSB. The BSB's got like a 1-up and a 5-up or something like that. He might actually have the Talisman of Preservation, so he might have a 4-up ward save, so he's going to be hard to kill. It's this big block of Saurus with a Skink Priest in here. He's got the Bastiladon that has a bound spell. The bound spell, when you get it off, you roll d6. On a 1, it does d3 strength 3 wounds, or strength 3 hits to the unit. On a roll of 2 or 3, I think it does d6 strength 4. I think on a roll of 4 or 5, it does, or it might just be a roll of 5, it does 2d6 strength 5, and then on a roll of 6, it does 2d6 strength 6, something like that. So it just does a bunch of hits. I believe they're flaming as well. He's got his general here, who's really very difficult to kill. He's got Armor of Destiny, so he's got a 4-up ward save. He's got a 1-up armor save that's rerollable because of Dawnstone, and he's also got the other Trickster Shard. So this guy's just a nightmare to kill. He's only got 3 wounds and toughness 5, but still, it's just such high armor. He's got a bunch of skinks in front of him, and he's got 2 salamanders, one here and then one back here. Additionally, he's got some chameleon skinks that were able to pop up behind my screamers. So turn 1 Lizardmen, he flies everything behind my screamers, which I'm perfectly fine with. I can fly too, so I'm not concerned about it. And then he moves up all of his units. He just kind of plugs forward and gets ready to take some shots. During the magic phase, I think he rolled a 1 and a 2, so he's not really able to get anything off. He tries to do this little bound spell thing, and I think I dispelled it. Over here, he does 1 wound to my screamers through shooting. Not really concerned about what's going on there. So turn 1 Daemons. I fly my screamers behind his chameleon skinks, and screamers have an ability where when they fly over something, they do d3 shots to them for each screamer that flew over. So 3 screamers is 3d3 shots. Those shots hit on a 4-up, and then they wound. They're at strength 4. So I was able to kill 3 of those chameleon skinks, and they panic and they ran to the middle of the board. Over here, this Bastiladon ends up taking 3 wounds to shooting from my skull cannon. I think 1 skull cannon shot him, and the other skull cannon rolled a misfire and can't shoot the next turn. Unfortunately, one of my skull cannons rolled a misfire every single time it shot. So it didn't explode, luckily, but I wasn't able to do too much with one of the skull cannons. So they really mitigated this game. And turn 2 Lizardmen. I should mention, I tried to do Final Transmutation on this big block, but I didn't roll Irresistible, and he just Dispel Scrolled it. So that was nice that I drew out the scroll turn 1. Lizardmen turn 2. He takes this general into my Beast of Nurgle. I'm not super concerned about this just because I'm going to stick around for forever. I've got toughness 5. I think he's actually strength 7, so the toughness doesn't really matter, but the -1 to hit means he's hitting me on 4s. And also, I've got a 4-up ward save because of regeneration, so we're just going to be stuck there forever. Also, as long as I have the 3 models, I'm steadfast, and I'm taking leaderships on 7. So this was a little bit of a problem. I had rolled a 4 in the previous magic phase, which means my ward save went from a 5 to a 6, and he flew over these pink horrors with his pterodons and dropped rocks on me. Very similar to what the screamers do, but he doesn't have to roll to hit, which is a big advantage. They automatically hit. So he ends up killing 6, 7 pink horrors. I rolled really well. If I had had a 5-up ward save, I think I rolled 5 5s, but since the 6-up ward save, it didn't really do me much. So he's really taking out a lot of that unit. And then through shooting, he actually kills 2 more. So at the end of the day, there's only 2 guys left in this unit. The general and one guy left. He also does the big amber spear during the magic phase and ends up taking 2 wounds off of the skull cannon, which was a little worrisome. And he also gets Whison's Wild Form on the general. I'm not super concerned about that just because the +1 strength is not helping him to wound at all. And also, I'm not planning to do any wounds to him just because he's got such good saves. At the end of combat, I think I take 1 wound through combat, and I'm steadfast because I have the full rank and he doesn't have any ranks. And I passed my leadership check, so I don't take any wounds. Turn 2, Demons. So my Beast of Nurgle on the bottom left charged this salamander. It was a reasonable distance, but he decides to flee. And then I made a little bit of a mistake here. I tried to redirect and I failed. I wanted to go into these guys, but since I failed, I'm kind of stuck in a bad position over here since Salamander really fled pretty far, so I couldn't catch him. And then during the magic phase, I did Infernal Gateway on this Pterodon unit, and I ended up doing 7 wounds to it, which is great. So he's only got 1 wound left. And then I grew back some of my horrors, which was nice. He ends up passing his toughness test, which is unfortunate, or else I would have killed the last guy. And so he's got regen 6. Over here, you can see my beasts that were pulled out of position due to the failed redirect attempt. And he ends up doing 2 wounds to my Beast of Nurgle over here. Possibly from instability, I'm not sure. Maybe he snuck 1 through and then I got 1 through instability. Now you'll notice I didn't take my skull cannon into the side of this guy over here. I was tempted to, but the problem is I'm strength 6 in the charge, so I've got strength 6 impact hits. So his 1-up goes to a 4-up. So let's say I happen to do 4 wounds to him. He's got 3 4-up saves. He's got his first armor save, he's got his rerollable armor save, and then he's got his ward save. So in order for me to sneak the wound through, it's a 50% chance he fails the first one, 50% chance he fails the second one, a 50% chance he fails the third one. So basically 1 in 8 of the wounds are going to get through. So there's just no reason for me to charge. He's going to be able to attack my skull cannon and probably kill it with strength 7. Strength 7 is going to bring my 3-up save to a... It'll get rid of it. So I won't have an armor save, and my ward save is 5-up, but he'll be able to do a lot of wounds to me. So I just thought it wasn't worth it. So I just took a shot at the Bastiladon, and I ended up killing the Bastiladon. So it was probably the right move. Turn 3 Lizardmen. He ends up doing some damage to this unit. I think he might have shot at it with a salamander previously. Oh, sorry, I should go back. As you can see, my skull cannon's way up here. I ended up charging one of his salamanders, and the salamander fled. And then he had a skink unit over here that I charged, and I managed to run it down. So I killed one of his skink units, and the salamander's fleeing. So during his turn, he kind of keeps the Pterodon back here, and he charges into my beast unit on the side. I challenged out his BSB, so he couldn't attack with anything else, but he just had so much static combat res with 3 additional ranks and 2 banners that I ended up taking like 7 wounds to instability or something like that. So I've got 1 beast left, which is unfortunate. His chameleons over here rally, which is, good for him. And then over here, I take some damage due to instability and normal hits. So this combat's not going great. But the beasts are doing a good job of holding up this guy. He'll tear through anything in my entire army, so it's a good thing that he's just stuck there. Turn 3 Demons. This might actually, I might have been wrong. This might have been the turn that I charged the skinks. So I'm way out of position with this guy. This is fleeing. My Skull Cannon tried to charge one of his other salamanders, but I didn't make it in. So I'm just kind of stuck out here. And not much happens in combat. I think my beasts actually miraculously stick around, which is really bad for my opponent because he would have been able to get some nasty charges in. So, turn 3 Lizardmen. I don't have any pictures of this, unfortunately. I think all of my beasts... my beast fighting his big block ends up popping, and my beast fighting his general sticks around. So as you can see, I just reform everything. The salamander's in the back, still fleeing. I take shots at his BSB. The stupid Skull Cannon misfired again, so it can't shoot next turn. And this Skull Cannon actually hits the BSB, but he saves it with his 4-up save. So the BSB doesn't have a lookout surge just because it's on the cold one. And over here you can see my beast had popped the turn before, so I brought my screamers over just to redirect. And I've got my unit back here, who are safe for a little bit. And then this is really nice that this guy stuck around, but as you can see, he's going to pop any time, and my Skull Cannon is going to get charged. I threw 6 dice of Final Transmutation and got it off on this unit. I ended up killing his Skink Priest, which was actually really important for later on. And then I killed like 6 or 7 Saurus Warriors. At the end of my turn, he pops these guys, and he's facing the Skull Cannon. So turn 5 Lizardmen, he charges the Skull Cannon, and he ends up killing the Skull Cannon. It was no problem for him. And I should say, I don't think I have a picture of this. No, I don't. At the end of the turn, his Lizardmen kill all my, his Saurus Warriors kill all my Screamers. But because he has no Skink Priest nearby, they're forced to overrun because of the Predatory Fighter rule. So he's forced to overrun pretty far. And then my Pink Horrors are able to move up and get out of the way. So he's not going to be able to charge them in turn 6. So that was really great. At the end of the day, my next turn, I try to kill this stupid Pterodon that has 1 wound left. And I get Blue Fires of Tzeentch off, but I roll, this is a real problem with random spells, D6 wounds, D6 hits. I roll a 1 for the hits and a 1 for the wounds, so I wasn't able to do any damage to it, and he gets full points for that. He gets full points for his Chameleon Skinks. I do get Infernal Gateway off on this guy over here, and I end up doing, I think, 1 or 2 wounds to him. And then the Skull Cannon takes a shot and does take him out. So I am able to kill his general, which is worth quite a lot of points. So at the end of the day, when we counted up the points, he actually ended up winning by about 100 points. I think he got 950 battle points, and I got victory points, and I got about I think I got 850. The real problem was that I had all these very close to dead units that I wasn't able to kill on his side. If I'd killed that one Pterodon, it would have been, I probably would have been ahead by a couple of points, but I wasn't able to. So some of the closing thoughts. I think the game went pretty well. I'm actually really happy with this list. I think it's about as nasty as it gets for 1,500 points in Daemons. Lore of Metals, a really nice choice for the Heralds because you get enchanted, you're pretty good chance to get enchanted blades and Final Transmutation, which are great to take away, to take out some scary units. So if my opponent ever has a big, horde of something, Final Transmutation can really soften them up before they get to you, and gives you a decent chance to kill some characters too on a roll of 6. And also, Searing Doom and Gehenna's Golden Hounds are really nice because they give you an answer to really high armor, especially if they're far away. My opponent didn't have any knights, but had he had, some Cold One knights, I would have Searing Doomed them and taken off, 3 or 4 of them each turn with that. Tzeentch Magic's really nice too. I like having the 3 units of Pink Horrors. You can spread them out and make it difficult for your opponent to get to them and kill them. And also, you get some pretty decent spells. Infernal Gateway is really, really nice. Helps you take out basically anything you want. You got over a 50% chance of getting it because you've got the 3 units, and if you roll a spell you already have, you can pick Infernal Gateway, so there's a decent chance you'll get it. Beast and Nurgle are really great. They're always good. They didn't really get to shine in this matchup, but while they didn't really kill anything, they did really make a difference in holding up his things. I held up his general for like 5 or 6 combats, which is excellent, just because he can move pretty fast, and if he gets into combat with anything in mind, he's going to kill it. So that was awesome. For the awesome job on the beast. And then my other beasts that got charged in the flank, they didn't really have an opportunity to do well. But the nice thing about them is that they held up that big block again, so he wasn't able to get into combat with too much. Skull cannons are always great. I wasn't really able to take them into anything just because his general had such good saves. But the nice thing about them is that I can shoot, so they made back their points killing the Bastiladon. So they're really nice to have. The only thing I would change about this list is that I would bring 2 units of Furies of Tzeentch instead of the Screamers. Screamers they're just not very good. The nice thing about the Furies is that I can be a roadblock, so I could have thrown them up in front of his General's unit and chaff them up for 2 turns, giving me more times to toss Infernal Gateways and Final Transmutations on them, and really giving me more time to be a little bit more maneuverable. So overall, I think it's a strong list. If you're interested in trying it out, feel free. Let me know how it does if you end up playing it. And thanks for watching.